overcome the panic about money and how you can manifest it with ease. I'm going to speak metaphysics, I'm going to speak consciousness and light frequency, and then to a practical way. So it's going to be a combination of things. If you're a fan, if you connect with concepts of, like, for example, the matrix, how to unplug from a frequency that you don't want, and but bringing it into the reality that you do want. If you're gonna, we're gonna talk about manifestation, how to manipulate energy, but not people, not opportunities, and how you can attract great opportunities to you, even in a climate like this. I don't like saying that phrase, but if you're connecting that, the world is kind of weird. If you want to strengthen your energy, your power source to manifest, always manifest money, and to not pick up the frequency of the panic that they want us to have in the collective, then this is your video. And I invite you to watch from the beginning to the end, because it's going to make you a lot of money. Okay? It is. So if you are the person, if you're the person that's, this is a little woo-woo, I still recommend that you watch this to the beginning to the end, because I'm going to educate you on something that could, in value, is worth over $20,000 if you really, like, in cash, put it into practice. This is the most important thing above any other strategy that I'm talking about, like course, program, AI, certification that you need to get, because these things are, at they're not the source. Okay, they're the surface. But if you understand the source, if you become knowledgeable about the source, if you become masterful about the source, it will manifest for you. Okay, and then you will be guided from God, source, your higher self, to, or your angels, to know which course or certification to get. If you're trying to get a certification from panic, yeah, of abuse, I'm hearing, out of a fear of being obsolete, you might waste your money, because it's the consciousness in which you do things, with which you do things, versus the joyfulness that runs through you. And joyfulness is actually one of the highest consciousness. It's right before enlightenment. So these things matter if you don't want to waste your money, okay? If you don't want to be wasteful and you want to receive cash with ease. I'm going to speak really deep metaphysical concepts that are going to make you extreme levels of money, okay? I'm talking extremes. So watch this video several times, share it, take notes, and let's make money together, all right? Who am I? My name is Nicole Lisa, love coach, femininity coach, intuitive psychic. And you might wonder, what does a love coach have to do with it? Because I've never added to my title dating coach. I help women and also men. I work with men too. But my main persona online is on helping women really feel self-love, self-esteem to the core, not compete and shine from the inside out. So I'm also somebody that studies metaphysics, and I'm all about personal sovereignty. So what's currently happening, and this video is going to help both men and women, non-binary, whoever you are, it is going to help you. So currently, to overcome, basically you have to know, with the current situation that we're living in, where the government is changing, like, your title, you feel the dread of AI taking your jobs, you feel like you have to take certifications on AI, you have to do a bunch of stuff to stay relevant. I want to speak to you about people who really have power, okay, and those that try to pretend to be God. Power comes from God. You're co-creating with God. You're sovereign. When you try to be God, right, you become an abusive person, right? It's a form of narcissism, benevolent, or no, not benevolent, actually, grandiose is the word that I'm talking about. And you try to control the masses and create a lot of fear and siphon energy, okay? You try to control the narrative about what other people need to do so that you feel powerful, so that they feel powerful. So, for example, if you say stuff like, well, the economy always kind of goes to a peak and then crashes, I want you to be mindful of that conversation, because somebody is making it crash. Right before like 6 something years ago before we went into isolation, if you pick up my drift, the self development industry was at its peak. People were growing powerful, empowered, and then there was this big shadow where all of a sudden we have to fight or we have to figure out, quote unquote, what's viral, what's trending. They make it confusing for you to know what is it that you need to do to profit. You basically have to do exactly what they need to tell you because a lot of people didn't like that you were profiting off of their platforms without giving them money. So they create this wave of confusion and panic and directing a narrative about what needs to happen because a lot of these people never had a life fully and they just need all the attention in them and they like people seeing people be in a state of fear, stress, or angst. Okay, so and so that's one of the sources of why there's so much, maybe you can pick it up, so much panic. Now, as a powerful creator, you need to trust God's source and your higher self. And you got to trust people. This is core. This is one of the main things that I want to address in this video because it's an open flow. You have to have open flows, okay? You have to believe in equality. You have to believe in fairness. You have to be able to trust, okay? So you got to unplug from that matrix, right? Where people are trying to make you feel chaos or panic or anger or make you feel apathetic. And I want to state this very clearly. I want you to check in right now and ask yourself, when it comes to money, what am I feeling? Okay, mention at least 4 things. Pay attention to those 4 things that you brought up. Now, I want you to ask, is this someone's energy? Is this the collective's energy? Is this my energy? Is this my parents' energy? Okay. Asking all these questions, and you might see that the answer goes all across, like it's all of the above. So with each emotion that you mentioned, maybe I'm feeling stress, maybe I'm feeling anger, maybe I'm feeling sadness, maybe I'm feeling forlorn, maybe I'm feeling hate, maybe I'm feeling guilt, maybe I'm feeling just panic. Okay. With all of them, is this my energy? Is this somebody else's? Is this the collective's? Is this my parents? Who energy is this? And it might be yours and it might be all of them. Okay. Become aware of this because what I'm speaking to in this video goes beyond just an emotion. If you've been feeling this for years, okay, just a dread or an anxiety, it's because you're not feeling connected to your higher self or to your power. The way in which they siphon you is that they make you feel like you need them. Okay. And what this does that you might not be able to put in words or could be forming is that they're trying to make you feel helpless. They're trying to make you feel desperate. They try to make you feel powerless. So this is one of the reasons why when you're saying, I want you to be pay attention to what I'm saying. This is not about just a fleeting emotion. This is a collective effort to make something crash. Okay? It could be the economy. It could be you. They could be trying to break you. Okay? So your sense of power, remember, the self-development industry was at a peak and a high right before we went into isolation. So one of the easiest ways in which people can manipulate you and siphon you is about money. Because for a degree of people, you've always felt like money was outside of you. And maybe you were never introduced to these concepts that I'm mentioning to you right now. So it's like, oh, you can manifest all you want, but money, like it's outside, like money and health, like it's outside of what you can do. And I get that. Like with health it can be challenging for many different reasons, right? But if you heard what I said, like you heard what I said, like I'm not gonna go there. So so you feel like money is outside of you. So this is not just a fleeting emotion. If there's a collective effort to try to make you build up feelings of helplessness, hopelessness, anxiety, a feeling of, what was the other word I said? Powerlessness. Okay. This is one of the reasons why you know maybe some principles about manifesting money or you don't know them, but you are praying and it's not fully coming to pass. Okay. You've got to clear anywhere people like you're taking on a frequency of hopelessness. Of I hear there's naivete, please don't take this the wrong way. Hopelessness. And I'm not trying to create like doom and gloom energy. No, I'm actually a very peaceful person. I'm going to express to you on the other side of this video how you can emanate more of this peace in a way that it actually brings you the money and the wealth that you want. And it's important to really train being in that space because when you're sovereign and you feel that peace and that joy running through you, then you get, God giving creative ideas or from your higher self that are guiding you to fine tune and to make that with ease and grace. Not in panic, not in hustle, not in anxiety. Okay? So, so, so that's what I'm saying. These entities are trying to create this chaos. I'm not trying to create the chaos. I'm just communicating. And I'm going to communicate the answer. And if you'd like to join my program, Joyfully Paid, which is an energy cleansing program, both on the nervous system, but on your aura and your nervous system through kinesiology, I will help you do that. Integrate these principles. The information is below. We're starting in some days. All right. So, all right. So I'm not trying to create the chaos, all right? Because sometimes some people have this interesting reaction where they're like angry and they get angry at the messenger. I'm just communicating because I'm like the person that's explaining that interference that you've been feeling in your field for years, slowly but surely. And it might not be me, but like you're seeing it with other people, like coworkers that are telling you that they're going through it, that things are rough. They're like you see the anxiety in their eyes, and I'm really just trying to be a calming presence. Okay, this is what's happening, but you are stronger. Okay, they can't break you. They can't break you. So now, still, it is important to work on your frequency, right? Why is that? Because when you're in a prolonged space, in an environment like that, where people are trying to break you, they're trying to make you feel helpless, they're trying to make you feel like you need them, they're trying to make you feel anxiety, a prolonged space in that like in that energy can create a lot of different things. I'm not a doctor, okay? So all the things that I would say are intuitive, and you can check with doctors when I'm going to say next. But it can impact, for example, your joy neurotransmitter, okay? It can impact, not a doctor, so all these things are just set for entertainment purposes only. It can impact your joy neurotransmitter. It can connect with your amygdala, create panic, hypervigilance, stress, okay? It impacts your cortisol, meaning it impacts your adrenals. Therefore, you're tired, you're exhausted. It impacts your creative ability. And when you're dipping like that, it's hard for you to connect and for you to pick up the frequency and the messages that you're getting from your higher self, from God, etc. So part of all of this is to take care of yourself. And you can take the supplements, which I recommend. I'm not a doctor, entertainment purposes only, right? I'm not talking about any substances. I'm talking about just aligning, taking care of yourself. At the same time, you gotta still be adaptable, right? Adaptable to what is it that you need to do. Not panic adaptable, but really strongly adaptable. So what does that mean? Your nervous system is actually meant to be adaptable, flexible, joyful. See, the nervous system is not just about panic, fright, like flight, freeze, fawn, fight. Okay, it's also about joy. It's about pleasure. It's about just being like powerful. Yes, just being strong. Okay, like you're like that. Yes, it's like it's possible. I can do this. You know, and it's got to be able to trust life that it can get what it wants. All right. Like I feel like the energy of like a panther, like moving, like I can get what I want. Right. Like I'm powerful. All right. If you're not feeling that, if you're complaining about what's happening, if you're picking up on all the different frequencies, and you are because you're an intelligent person, you pick up all the chaos. And then if it starts to depress you, okay, that's your nervous system talking. Okay. So it is important to reprogram yourself because I had to go through this during our moments of isolation 6 years ago. Like I could feel the energy of everybody, and I had to do kinesiology, reprogramming work in my nervous system to get it back to joy, to trusting myself, to remembering who I am, what I can do, and to unplug from that matrix. Okay? So, and I exercise a lot of discipline. Okay? So I didn't judge the work that I needed to do, which I'm going to introduce to you a concept that's called joyful learning. Okay? This is not just woo-woo talk. It's just some people, I'm attracting different people that can listen to this or not, but that's part of what we're doing Joyfully Paid. So joyful learning versus stress out learning versus anxious learning versus panicky learning versus apathetic learning versus rageful learning. You see, one of the things that will give you the money that you need is your intuition. Okay? And if your nervous system is dipping and your nervous system runs through the entirety of your body or is becoming inflexible, not trusting, rigid, it's just not normal for you to be able to, for your body to hold that level of cortisol inducing scenarios like that without receiving some TLC and some help. Okay? And the work is different for different people, depending on how much they're allowed to take in. Also paired up with many traumas that you've had in the past, because what these things do is that trauma connects with trauma, or it just idiot connects and it's like all one big soup. And you're trying to logically say, oh, this is just this and this is just that. But to your brain, because your brain is hyper vigilant, it's the same thing right now, or like very similar. You don't feel like you can be yourself, like you can do the things that you need. And then your nervous system starts to shut down. So, on a practical level, instead of going into isolation, hoarding, panic, like I have no power or say or influence about what happens in the economy, you do. This is where God comes in, right? This is where God comes in. You got to really remain connected to God. And I'm not trying to be religious. I'm saying because I'm a Christian, but I don't like to judge like that. I'm saying connect to because some people, I'm not available for that. For you to try to correct me about what word I'm saying. Like, it's all love. It's all the same frequency. I'm not a cult leader. I don't need that. Okay. I'm just spreading love. So what happens is, because God oh my God, it's love. It's in all people. Okay. And I respect that even if you are an atheist. It's all good, right? I'm just providing information. So you connect to God, your higher self, your angels, source, the universe, however you want to call it, okay? Just deepest form of love in the planet, in all the universe. You have to take care of yourself. And it cannot be reactive learning too, or quasi learning too. When there's an energy that's you got to become adaptable, joyfully adaptable, meaning when there's an energy trying to create so much chaos and always has to reinvent the wheel and always has to make you feel panic about money, that's intentional. That's abuse. Okay? Somebody's trying to play puppeteer or Saw with you. Okay? The movie. So, what's happening is that you remember that God is a benevolent force. You are benevolent. And you got to take care of yourself and you got to continue to learn. A message that I will always receive from the angels is people have a like a love-hate relationship with learning because it reflects their consciousness, it reflects their panic, it reflects their belief systems. Because either you grew up being told that you needed to go outside of yourself, you have to learn how to fit in, you have to learn how to go through certain doors, you have to learn how to get people to like you, that makes you split and makes you go outside of yourself and feel like you have to abandon yourself in order to be liked to get money. Like you have to get approval from other people. Maybe you have to give reverence to people. You have to beg, you have to compete, okay, to get money. But the most important principle here is that God runs through you. God is benevolent. The universe is benevolent. And you help yourself in different forms of capacity, like I said. Like just the different examples that I said, even about like the supplements, like reducing the time that you listen to these things. But you also invest time, money, energy, resources in helping your nervous system be strong, magnetic, and also understand spiritual law, right? A narcissist, the people that are trying to puppeteer, are people that are antisocial. They don't want you to connect. They want you to go into isolation. They want you to not trust anybody. They want you to think that people are corrupt because they are corrupt. Okay? So you feel like then you start to make this thing, this energy, this process of making money like I'm only here, it's just me and God. But no, you gotta know that there's people that are growing and learning just as much as you, and that God works through people. So you gotta have an open, energetic flow in your nervous system to people. I'm explaining why, in practical ways, even though you're praying, even if it's just you and God, you're not attracting the money that you need. You gotta have a space in your nervous system to trust people and have your intuitive self be there with you to know who's trustworthy or not from the get go. And yes, it's possible. It's absolutely possible for you to get intuitive answers from somebody if they're trustworthy, if they're kind, if they're just within seconds of meeting them. Okay, and that's something that I offer privately, and you can email me if you want to know more about how to build your intuition. So, this is critical because it's you got to have that open flow about people in order for money to always flow and for you not to be in panic about it. Because, and this is why I mentioned joyful learning. I've been doing this work for 12 years, okay? And I've helped women across the board, successful women across the board. Some people get stuck in a sense of victimization, like it's like the world is not fair, in this darkness that it's never going to work out. And I get it. They experience a lot of trauma, and I have experienced a lot of trauma, CPTSD, which I healed from, etc. That's why I say I've had to have a lot of discipline. And I had to change my view around doing the work. There were things that I needed to let go of. I had to let go of a sense of entitlement, like I call it angry receiving. Okay? Like the world is so unfair, the world is effed, and I'm so good, and oh my God, it's so difficult being me. Clear. Okay? This doesn't help me. A lot of women complain about why they're doing work, okay, on themselves when other people are not doing it. Forget other people. Yes, it's you and God. Like, what is for you to do? Because when you want to change the world, you start with yourself. You want to be able to hold and have a bigger capacity to receive. If you're complaining about why you're doing it, men are not doing it, why you're doing it, other people are not doing it, they might not have the capacity at the moment. Just focus like sheep by sheep, one person at a time, you. And if it's your turn, rejoice in that, right? So can you find the gratitude for the work that you need to do? There's something about that. If you're not grateful about learning, you're not receiving enough information. Like you're capping your receiving, your capacity to receive insight. Grateful for learning. I'm not talking about anything else. If you're not grateful to learn something new, it means somewhere along the way you started to pick up years before beliefs of impossible, sadness, grief, I can't get what I want, helplessness, hopelessness, anger, wrath, apathy. Okay, you started to pick up a lot of these consciousness, and not just emotion, but consciousness, okay, over the years that it caps your learning. And then what happens is that you're learning, you're trying to get how to make money from this anger. Okay. And this is critical. So, or not just anger, sincerely, it's a lot of different emotions. It could be guilt. Like you could be trapped like in guilt consciousness, which says that you're wrong. So you're going to see a wrongness of learning and you cannot fully see it. In modern term, like words, you know about your attention span, right? You know about your attention span, and that's exactly it. But what's behind your attention span? It's like a short circuit, right? And you're like, oh my God, I didn't get it. But what's behind that? There's some sort of sense of wrongness. You want everything quick, right? And you go through this emotional roller coaster within seconds to a point that you tire yourself out. You're impacting your adrenals, entertainment purposes only, right? You're impacting your adrenals and you can't think, you can function, you can get a creative idea. And you're wondering why is it that your money is not flowing? Because it's a conglomerate of guilt, shame. It's a conglomerate of I'm not enough behind that. It's a conglomerate of life is unfair. That's what the frequency is saying. That's part of apathy consciousness. You can't be that successful. You can't be that. So At what age these entities started to cap your learning? Okay. At what these entities start to cap you, it's not just with your attention span. It's not just back in the day with IG with FOMO, fear of missing out, right? They know your drives more than you do. Haven't you realized that AI knows your drives, like your human motivation, more than you do? That you have to go and look up on AI what's going on for you emotionally. So if all that information about what's going on with you emotionally is on AI, right? You think they don't know that as they create these programs and these platforms to confuse you and to drain you and deplete you? They're building up a robot more than they're building up you. Okay? But instead of blaming, let's just say, where am I not building myself up first? Where am I not prioritizing that? So, this is why it's important to clear your energy, getting it to a point of joy, of bliss. Okay? Because that way, what people don't understand, if you believe in the matrix and all of that, when you're plugged in into joy, your energy is unmanipulatable. You're so tapped in, connected to source, to your frequency, that you are benevolent, right? In a good way, not a benevolent narcissist, where you actually wish, you believe that you can manifest fairness, that God will show you the way. You will be so intuitive, okay? You will get creative ideas and you will also believe in people and you will know who to work. These energies that are to create this chaos are trying to get you to a place where you don't trust people and you feel like the world, everybody's out there for themselves, that it's a rat race. And if you believe that, I recommend that you do this work because it's not about a rat race. You're just feeling you're being a pawn to their story. Okay? It's about creativity, community. A narcissist is an antisocial person. And if you build community and you're intuitive enough, you will know how to get the money. You will know how to make it happen. You will know who to trust and you will be able to replicate. So you don't want to be in a space where you're allowing your energy to dip to that level of anxiety and panic and fear and stress, because that actually creates holes in your field. And then these people, these energy vampires, siphon your energy. Okay? They make you feel like that fear of being obsolete. They make you feel like you don't have any power or say about the government. No, so why don't you take some time, some months or years to strengthen your consciousness, to strengthen your joy, and understand that when you're that confident, not in an egotistical way, but you're that confident in God, in yourself, and in people, okay? And you get the creative ideas, and not just at a conscious level, because that's what I'm trying to explain here. The work might be a little bit different for people depending on what beliefs they picked up on. And if you're willing to be a joyful learner, do the reprogramming sessions that you need to, like with your nervous system or your auric field. And if you get left sense of like, well, I've done some of this work before, and then you stop, you felt like it wasn't working, you hit a wall. And it could have been an apathetic wall. It could have been like a shame wall. It could have been like a disbelief wall. It could have been like, this is not going to work. This could have been like, oh my God, like I'm going to outshine my parents. Because I've had that belief. For you, outshining your parents was never safe because some of your parents were narcissists, right? So it's like a threat in your brain. So you want to love on your brain, give it the love and the TLC that your brain needs, because maybe it was a training ground. There's a lot of narcissists out there. Why don't you get your nervous system to get to a place where it can you can shine and you're not worrying about being a threat to narcissists, right? Because God is bigger. They're just like the little dog that's barking and they're like barking to a bigger dog, but the bigger dog doesn't know that it's a bigger dog. But I do believe that when we see this darkness, we have to choose enough light ourselves and we do it joyfully. And when you're choosing yourself joyfully, the world, God, source brings it back to you because you're also a benevolent force. You're helping other people grow and like themselves. You give information. You do good, okay? You do good. It benefits for more people to do this work. Okay, it's not a rat race. It's not a narcissistic race. I'm not saying that you're a narcissist, but think about it. Like the people that are teaching you these things about you can trust other people. Everybody's fake. I'm the most enlightened person in the room because I'm so by myself. These people do not totally understand society yet. Like they're antisocial and they're not trusting enough. But once you get to a place where you clear all this helplessness, all this hopelessness, all this apathetic, all this fearful energy, you become more intuitive. You get answers within seconds. That's something that I can promise you. And that's something that I work with my clients. So if you want to work on it privately, send me the email to know about the intuition program. Okay. And we can talk about it. We sit down and we talk together live, and we see if it's the right fit. And then you will be wowed at the answers that you can get. And also, you can join my group program, clearing program, Joyfully Paid, where we're covering that, the energetics of money. Now, like I said, for some people, private work is necessary or working on other things is necessary, depending if they've experienced trauma, etc., panic, anxiety. But the core element of this program, and I will let you know if you want that as part of the program. I will let you know if I see that there's anything else in addition. I will let you know in full transparency. But this program will make you money. For some, I hear over 120K, right? I'm here to tell you that particular, you feel like this is you. It will make you money. You got to be able to study joyfully, learn joyfully, keep going joyfully, because you trust God, yourself, or the universe, yourself, and others. You got to be able to see the goodness in others. And sometimes it requires, if you've experienced a lot of abuse, like, because I'm here to say this, if you've been in corporate America and people have tried to break you down, they've tried to make you doubt your worth, somewhere they make you feel low, worthless, or you've been around a lot of narcissists, maybe like in high corporate places, I hear high tech, like, and people are trying to like break you down, then part of the work is to undo in your nervous system anywhere they make you feel like you were nothing, like you were not special. All of these things, you release that, so your nervous system trusts itself again, its worth again, okay? And oh my God, I feel lighter just saying that. Somebody needed to hear that. And then bam, you're stronger, unbeatable. You know what I mean? And I'm hearing some of us need to, like, because narcissists are toxic and they're dangerous, right? But we gotta be able to outgrow this programming, okay? Like, choose ourselves and choose our life joyfully and live joyfully no matter what. Stop saying the world is a dark place, because it's not. You're just like looming at the narcissistic energy. Fall in love with your energy, fill up with your own energy, become the light of the world. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that. If you would like to join me, please join. If you have any questions, please go ahead. And the email is going to be below for you to email me about working on your intuition as well. So sending you much love. For intuition, I have 4 spots available to work with. The ending of the year, beginning of 2026. And it's a one-on-one program. So I'm looking forward to connect with you. Take care.